I'm UFC heavyweight Stephen Wonderboy, and you listen to Talkingbrawls.
Delighted to welcome onto the show number 8 ranked welterweight UFC, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen, great to have you on the show. How's all with you, my friend?
Thanks a lot, my friend. Glad to be on, man.
Good stuff. Yeah, delighted to have you, Stephen. Obviously, your last fight against Jake Ellenberger, you're coming off a slight injury. I think you had a heel injury after the KO victory. How's the body now? How's the knee? How's everything?
Oh, it feels great, man. Yeah, whenever I hit Jake Ellenberger with that spin hook kick, I thought I broke my foot. I thought I broke my heel, to be honest with you. And just ended up having a bruised heel, but I was compensating. Ended up tearing the meniscus of my left knee, went in for surgery. But they had me walking on it the next day, and it's feeling great now. I'm back into training.
Let's talk about that fight. Obviously, that was a fantastic performance. Do you ever have to pinch yourself or sort of look back after such a special finish like that with the spinning hook kick?
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I go back and I actually watched the fight one time, and which I always do after every one of my fights. Me and the coaches, we all get together. We all go back and watch the fight. But, they were obviously picking me apart and things I should have done. I should have done this. I should have done that. But, man, no words can describe the feeling that you get after that,
And talk to me about that. Obviously, with the injury, was the first attempt of the heel hook, or was the initial knockout?
It was actually the initial knockout. The first spin, I ended up hitting him in the neck or lower jaw.
Yeah.
The second one went right across his forehead, which my whole foot went numb right after that. But I knocked him down. Didn't really care what was going on with my body, and tried to go in for the finish, and I ended up getting it.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, it was an unbelievable finish. It was a lucky love to be on press row there to listen to it and to hear it and ultimately see it. But, there's a lot of frustration with you, obviously, with the injury. And I believe you said you're lined up to take on Tarek Safadine. When do you reckon you're going to be ready for a return? Is it going to be December, January, somewhere around that time?
Well, I'm hoping December. I want to fight one of the top, another top 10 guy. And, of course, they all pretty much have fights booked. But a lot of times you get, when it comes to the MMA, you get guys that get injured and they can't make it. So the plan is to get back in shape. Hopefully, if somebody does get injured, I can step in. If not, then I got to wait till January.
Does it have to be a ranked guy for you? I know a lot of the guys are taken up. I think guys from yourself, number 8, all the way up are taken up. Does it have to be a guy in that top 10?
That's the plan. I mean, I kind of don't want to go back. I want to keep moving forward. The only guy pretty much right now is Tarek Safadine. And, of course, he's ranked number 9 now. I took his spot because I know he had some injuries going on, but I think we would put on a good show. He's a striker. I'm a striker. I think the fans would be happy with it. But, I'm really not really sure what's going on with him. Hopefully we can hear something here pretty soon.
Definitely. And, there's a huge amount of welterweight fights coming up, Stephen. Is it something you're keeping your eye on? And possibly if someone gets injured and in the next couple of weeks, or well, not couple of weeks, couple of months, that you'll be ready to jump in?
Oh, yeah, man. Well, you got, Matt Brown getting ready to fight Kevin Gastelum in Mexico. Not really excited about that one just because it's in Mexico City, which is like 7,000 feet above sea level.
Exactly.
And that definitely takes, months to prepare for that. But, you got Carlos Condit getting ready to fight Robbie Lawler. You got, of course, Johnny Hendricks and Tyron Woodley fell out.
Yeah, big time.
Because of, the weight cut. But you know what? It doesn't matter, to be honest with you. I'm 32 years old, and, I think now's my time, man. I got a short window to kind of do what I want to do. And, I want to make it happen. So it doesn't really matter who steps in the cage with. I'm going to do my best to prepare for him and put on a good show. And
you talked about that, you really want to make a push in the next 12 months for that title. You're 6-1 in the UFC. You're on a really good run again. Talk to me about the training. Obviously, you've worked with GSP, and you're with Sarah Longo, with Chris Weidman. That must give you. Does it change the mindset almost working with these guys the whole time?
Oh, definitely. I mean, when you got champions that you're training with, and you get to see how their work ethic is and how their mindset is in the training camp. And these guys are champions for a reason. I fought kickboxing for many years, ended up tearing every ligament in my left leg. So I was actually out for 3 years. So, I took a year to heal up. And at the time, I was actually training with George St. Pierre at TriStar, Rashad Evans, Nate Marquardt. So I was training with these high-level MMA fighters. So I was like, you know what? Why not switch to MMA? Had my first fight in 2010 And UFC called in 2012 in February, where I had my first, my UFC debut. But man, it's just been an honor and a privilege to actually go out there and train with these guys. Now I'm with Chris Weidman at Matt Sayers and Longo, and man, I like to keep good, positive people around me, and those guys are legit, they're good people, and great training partners, man.
And you mentioned just there, you're 32 years of age. Do you need to have a more aggressive mindset now? Because you're a very nice guy, you're a very polite guy, you're a very humble guy, you have the mindset, and you live the life of a martial artist. Is there a time where you're going to have to sort of just, I need to be more aggressive to make a push, maybe outside of the octagon?
I think so. I mean, when it gets to this level, and you see the title like right there in front of you, maybe one fight, maybe two fights down the road, you might have to kind of step out there and put yourself out there to try and get that title fight. I've never been really good at crap talking, I just never been. Maybe I could take, I don't know, maybe some pointers from Conor McGregor. Yeah. He's such a nice dude, man, to be honest with you. But he's so good at it. I mean, he's a very skillful guy, but he's very intelligent when it comes to it. He's not just blabbering off the mouth. He's very skillful at what he's saying, and I love to listen to him and watch him fight. He's amazing. Well,
we know Conor well here on the show, on the martial arts scene here in Ireland. Absolute gas, man. You know what? We talk about your dad as well. Your dad's a very important part of your life, always has been. You started with the Kempo with your father. When you make decisions to work with other camps such as Sarah Longo, does your dad have a big input in your decisions?
Yeah. I mean, that's not only is he my dad, he's my coach, but he wants the best for me. And we've been to many gyms before where you go in and people are trying to rip your head off just because you fight in the UFC, or you got guys who go out and spar with the UFC gloves, and they're going all out trying to knock each other out. Yeah. It's just not safe. And, my dad is always in my corner. He's always traveling with me just to make sure that, the places I'm going to are legit, they're safe. And, make sure that the guys that I'm sparring with don't have an ego. Things like that, because you can possibly end up getting injured and sometimes permanently injured. And, Ray Longo and Matt Serra train up there with Chris. Those guys are unbelievable, man. Very safe. And like I said, Chris is the champion for a reason. Just his work ethic and just to watch him do what he does definitely inspires me.
And working with your dad as well, a lot of people tell you this, family businesses or whatever, they don't often work out. Is there ever a point where you get frustrated with each other?
Yeah, man. I mean, we butt heads all the time, but he's been with me ever since I was very young. I got two brothers and two sisters. We all started at the age of 3, and I know and I respect my dad very much just because he's trained world champions, in kickboxing. Of course. And so he knows what comes into a training camp and what I need. And, he's been there with me, and I don't trust anybody else to do so. So I gotta, I'm the fighter, he's the coach, and we separate that. Yeah. Once we're in the gym, he's the coach, and I do what he tells me to do. Outside of it, we're father, son, man, we're hanging out, so we know how to separate it.
Definitely. Good stuff. And I want to get your opinion. Obviously, last weekend, you touched on it there, Johnny Hendricks, the whole issue with the IVs. You're a guy who cuts quite a lot of weight at times. What's your opinion on the whole IV ban?
I'm pretty excited about the whole new doping policy, and this is part of it. And I think we're kind of gearing and kind of moving towards an era where you're not going to have to cut as much weight, which I think is amazing. And you got these guys like Johnny Hendricks and Kevin Gastelum who cut a tremendous amount of weight, and the IV is a very important part of their recovery. But I got up after my second fight with Matt Brown. I got up to about 210. Tried to cut from 210 down to 170. Almost killed me, man. Wow. It was just horrible. And the IV did save me, but into the first round, I was done, man. I didn't have anything left. So, I mean, I felt kind of sluggish. So now I'm walking around at a lighter weight. I feel healthier. I don't really need the IVs, to be honest with you. Yeah. I can rehydrate orally, and I actually feel better when I do that.
from a fighter's perspective, and I really want to get your thoughts on this, because we still look at the safety elements. As, first and foremost, safety is the most important thing. Do you think we're going to see incidents like Johnny Hendricks, in the coming months as fighters are going to adapt to this situation of not being able to use an IV before a fight?
Yeah, man. I mean, they're going to have to. They're going to have to adapt, or they're just going to have to move up a weight class. Like Johnny Hendricks,
Yeah.
We were at the Arnold Classic together. It's a big body thing. It was in Vegas, and we were actually sponsored by Sam Nutrition. This is when he was getting ready to fight George, and at 170, and he was walking around about 220, 230 pounds.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, a lot of these guys, if you're a professional, you're going to have to keep that weight down. If this is what you're going to walk in. If you commit to 170, it's your job as a professional to be 170. And so, which means these guys are going to have to walk around lighter, or the guys don't like to cut weight and move up to that next level, that next weight class.
And do you think, ultimately from, the guys moving weight classes, which, I think a lot of guys are going to have to look at it possibly after the new year. I don't think a lot of guys have really sort of, registered that the IV has come into place. They obviously know about it, but I think they're just going to, experiment and try and get the weight down. Do you think ultimately we're going to see a better division, better fights, fighters, as you mentioned there, after the first round, you're completely gassed. Do you think we're going to see more exciting fights and fair fights at the weight divisions?
You know what? I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's going to take a little bit of trial and error to get these guys down where they need to be. A few guys, with not having the IV, if they're cutting a lot of weight, they're going to have crappy fights. Yeah. But when guys are walking around lighter, they don't have to cut as much weight. You're going to see exciting fights. People are going to be healthier. The fighters are going to be healthier. They're not going to be cutting as much weight. And, having somebody roll you out in a wheelchair to cut weight. And next thing you know, like Johnny Hendricks, I think he had like a blockage or something in his intestine. Yeah. Of course, he's been cutting weight for years, so it's finally taking its toll. But I agree. I think everybody's going to see more exciting fights. And
just one more before we let you out of here. I really do appreciate the time, my man. You're looking at that Tarek Saffiedine fight in January, maybe?
You know what? That's the plan. And hopefully, I haven't heard anything back yet. Hopefully he's injury free and he can step back out there, and I think we would put on a good show. And hopefully, if nobody gets injured in December, hopefully me and Saffiedine will be fighting in January.
That's definitely an awesome fight. I look forward to seeing it. But just tell me one more thing: how's all the coaching going in the kids' classes down in your gym?
Oh,
everything
man,
going
wonderful,
good?
Man. We got. Oh yeah, we're partying, man. We make them work hard, but we have fun doing it.
Brilliant stuff. And where can the guys find you? Obviously on Twitter, Stephen, on your gym if they want to get down and check it out.
Oh, yeah, awesome, man. You guys can follow me on Wonderboy MMA on Instagram, also Wonderboy MMA on Twitter. So stay tuned, follow me, and see what's happening next with Wonderboy.
Awesome stuff, Stephen. Really do appreciate the time, and look forward to seeing your return in hopefully January against Tarek Saffiedine.
Hey, I appreciate it, man, and hopefully we can do it again. It's a pleasure having me on.
And that was Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Really did enjoy that interview. An absolute top guy. Was originally supposed to happen